Today, we stand at an intersection of two worlds, the fast-paced fast food industry and the complicated realm of cybersecurity. Our journey titled The Fast Food Effect, translating fast food mastery into cross-industry success, explores how fundamental skills and work ethics honed in cybersecurity can be translated, fast food industry can be translated to the cybersecurity industry. In today's presentation, we will embark on a culinary expedition of a different kind, one that serves not only food, but also food for thought. With its persistence for efficiency, innovation, and customer satisfaction, the fast food industry has mastered the art of delivering quality at speed. But what does this have to do with cybersecurity? At first glance, the connection may seem unconvincing. However, as we dive deeper throughout this presentation, we will draw on real-life stories and examples that highlight the transferability of these skills. We will see how the discipline of fast food environment, emphasizing operational efficiency, customer service, and quality control, provides its solid foundation for the rigors and demands of the cybersecurity work. Our goal today is not just to start recognizing the value of the skills and work ethics, but to step back and reevaluate how we perceive job experiences and their relevance to our career paths. By the end of our time together, you will see that the journey from the fast food counter to the cybersecurity industry is not just possible, but a path paved with valuable lessons, skills, and attitudes. Again, thank you for joining me in this exploration, and let's get ready to supersize your understanding of cross-industry success. Before I start, I would like to say that the views and opinions expressed in this presentation are my own, and they do not represent the opinions of my employer. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Again, my name is Marco Palacios. I started my computer journey when I was 9 years old. I did IT operations for over 15 years, and eventually cross-trained in the cybersecurity industry. In my formal education, I got a bachelor's in information systems from University of Nevada, Reno, and then eventually got my master's in cybersecurity from University of Maryland. As Lorena told you, my first job was in cybersecurity at NASA Secure Operations Center, where I learned a lot about blue teaming, cyber defense, secure operations. From there, I went to Fortinet to work as an incident handler, where I helped creating the first internal secure operations center. From there, I moved to a more customer-facing side of business, and I started working as a senior tactical threat analyst in their MDR service, and recently just got promoted to customer success manager for FortiGuard's MDR consulting service. In addition, I am the president and co-founder of Pacific Hackers Association. We're a nonprofit organization that is on a mission to fix the gaps in the cybersecurity industry and to elevate the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. As you can see, I hold many industry certifications, and I'm a veteran. I served in the United States Air Force for 8 years, and I deployed to Afghanistan as part of Operation Enduring Freedom. I'm a DEFCON goon, so if you go to DEFCON this year, please stop by and say hi. And lastly, I have 3 amazing dogs and an amazing wife that she's also serving active duty Air Force, so go Air Force. My first job. All right, let's discuss my first job, because you have to start somewhere, right? Well, as you can probably guess, my first job was at McDonald's. And why McDonald's? Well, it's a children's dream, or at least it was my dream. One of the benefits of working at McDonald's is free food. So in my mind, I told myself, if you work there, you will eat Happy Meals every day and collect all the toys. So that was my goal. Fast forward years later, when I had a chance to apply for my first job, I picked McDonald's. At that point, I wasn't eating Happy Meals because I was a big boy, but now I was eating Big Macs. I could pick any other job or chain restaurant, but I had a dream. I wanted to work at McDonald's. That was my goal. What I didn't know, though, is that my first job at McDonald's was going to teach me many things that will help me throughout my career, especially now in the cybersecurity industry. Let's talk about McDonald's for a second. McDonald's is recognized globally. These iconic golden arches are a symbol of consistency. Its global presence isn't just about serving burgers and fries. It's a statement to a finely operational machine. They are located globally in over 100 countries, and the United States has the most McDonald's restaurants per capita in the world, with almost 40 million. McDonald's is a mastermind in marketing. They don't have a slogan per se compared to Nike, which says, just do it. But they have this famous sound of pa-da-pa-pa-pa. As soon as you hear that sound on the TV or radio, you don't care what the commercial is about. However, suddenly you're craving French fries, ice cream, or something else. Now, McDonald's is in your mind. The result? More likely, you're going to go to the restaurant and buy something, or just have it delivered. But what makes them successful? Standard operations. McDonald's success lies in extraordinary operational efficiency. From logistics to marketing, every aspect is meticulously managed. Their operational excellence is not just about serving food, but precision, consistency, and attention to detail. In addition, cultural adaptation and diversity. McDonald's excels in tailoring its offerings to the local culture. While the first 6 menu items might be consistent worldwide, the 7 and beyond often reflect local tastes. For instance, Mexico has the McMexican. In Asia, they tend to have items with teriyaki. Even in Hawaii, they have loco moco, Portuguese sausage, and Spam. Anyhow, the ability to adapt and respect cultural diversity, it is the basis for the global success. Now, let me read an abstract from their website on their mission and values. This is from the McDonald's Foundation, and it states, our strategy is underpinned by our focus on running great restaurants, empowering our people, and getting faster, more innovative, and more efficient at solving problems for our customers and people. Now, keep this in mind because we're going to use it in the next slide. And the million-dollar question, what does McDonald's have to do with cybersecurity? Well, it's a training ground for skills and work ethic relevant to the cybersecurity industry. Employees at McDonald's develop a diverse subset of skills. These skills range from customer service to handling high pressure and adherence to procedures and policies. Again, at first glance, flipping burgers might not seem worlds apart from cybersecurity. However, the skills honed in the fast-paced, process-driven environment of McDonald's are surprisingly relevant to the challenges facing the cybersecurity industry. They also set the example when doing business. As we saw in the previous slide, their standard operating procedures make them successful in what they do. Now, do people, technology, and processes ring the bell? You probably heard this before. If not, you will hear in the future. They are the basis of information security. Companies to fail to follow these principles are prone to incidents and breaches. So let's take a look at the McDonald's Foundation again and break the message down. Our strategy is underpinned by our focus on running great restaurants, empowering our people, and getting faster, more innovative, and more efficient at solving problems for our customers and people. So to put it into perspective, they mention people twice. When they say innovation, it means technology. And getting faster and more efficient means processes, right? Now, do you see the big picture? But how do we leverage the McDonald's success into cybersecurity? By now, I hope this starts making more sense and you can see how McDonald's success can be applied in the worlds of cybersecurity. Remember, it's not just about serving fast food. It's about operational efficiency, adaptability, and customer focus. When creating cybersecurity programs, the lessons learned from McDonald's about efficiency, standardization, and cultural adaptation are invaluable. These principles can aid you in making vital cybersecurity programs. Now, when making a career transition or a career move to the cybersecurity industry, again, it may seem daunting. But the foundational skills and work ethics developed at McDonald's provide a strong base for these transitions. And as you will see momentarily, Skills like problem solving, attention to detail, and handling pressure are crucial in the cybersecurity industry, just as they are in the fast food industry. Generally speaking, previous experiences, regardless of the industry, can provide a wealth of value transferable skills and experiences in the cybersecurity industry. But what you have here are some of the max skills that I learned that are very relevant as a cybersecurity professional. Learning the basics. I cannot emphasize this enough. The education system, our parents, they try to teach you the basis of things. However, we often ignore it. And instead of learning, we took shortcuts for a faster result. Guess what? Life will challenge you over and over until you learn that lesson. On my first day at McDonald's, I wanted to start flipping burgers and making them without proper kitchen operation training. From that day on, I learned that I needed to learn how to walk before I could run a marathon. To be placed on the grill or food preparation, I must first understand the business. So what do? They put me as a cashier in the drive-thru. First, I needed to know what the customers wanted. So when it was my time to make those burgers, I knew what the cashiers were asking me to do. Cybersecurity is not different. When you decide you want to become a cybersecurity analyst, you have to learn the basics of how computers work, networking fundamentals, server administration, security fundamentals. So when you're analyzing your first PCAP, you know what port 80 and 443 is. You know what error code 200 means. What's the difference between FTP and SFTP? Otherwise, what's going to happen is that you have to stop, go back and learn the basics, and then move on. However, in cybersecurity, time is critical. When you're doing triage or analysis, any second you spend is valuable. And that will be the difference between stopping a threat and allowing an incident to escalate. So guess what? The time you spend learning on the fly versus analyzing, the threat actor can use this to his advantage to cause harm. Attention to detail. This is another one. When wrapping burgers, you must ensure that you fold the paper correctly and that the lettuce, the onion, the cheese are placed correctly. You're looking for consistency. Because if you don't pay attention to detail, the results will be that there's going to be inconsistency in the quality of the product, and the customer will complain because their order looks ugly. Cybersecurity is not different. When you're analyzing your first PCAP, for whatever reason, you don't pay attention to the communications between the client and a server, and there is an indication of compromise, guess what? You will mark it as a false positive and close the alert. But later, the result is that your company will have a breach because the threat actor has advanced through the network because you failed to pay attention when analyzing the PCAP. Teamwork and collaboration. I'm going to read a quote from Pacific Hacker CEO Jen Winters. And actually, that same quote is in our badge and our lanyard. And basically it says, alone we're strong, together we're unstoppable. We cannot do it alone. And collaboration is the key to winning. Working at McDonald's, you will be part of a team from day one because you cannot run the restaurant by yourself. You have to collaborate and work as a team. Communication is critical because if something's missing, you have to let the rest of the team know what's the problem so they can fix it. Running out of wrapping paper or leads are the most common problem. I had to let my team lead know that we were out, so she can either get some from the storage room, other restaurants, or from the warehouse. In cybersecurity, especially as an incident responder, you will be responsible for talking to other business units and getting information when investigating an incident. Also, you might be the focal point when providing updates, especially when there is a breach and the legal team and the executives want updates. So my 2 cents. When you start collaborating and communicating with your teammates, ensure the message is clear and concise. I always tell my customers, Collaboration is the key to winning cyber warfare. We cannot do everything ourselves, so we must share our knowledge. You may know something the person next to you doesn't know, so share that knowledge with them. Time management and prioritization. As I mentioned before, time is crucial, which is the differentiator between a positive and a negative impact. At McDonald's, time is critical when working in the drive-thru. You only have 45 seconds between when the customer pays and when they pick up the order. This means whoever is creating those hamburgers and wrapping them and putting them into a bag, they have to make sure that the order is ready and has the quality. In cybersecurity, as I mentioned before, any second spent doing something else, the threat actor might use it as an advantage to move through the network or exfiltrate data. That's why you have to prioritize your tasks. Time management is not easy, but it's essential. Initiative and problem solving. Doesn't matter where you work, there will always be unique problems where you have to think outside the box and solve them using untraditional methods. McDonald's has a fast-paced environment, meaning the challenges can come from anywhere. For example, when I was working there, I was expected to run out of cheeseburger wrapping paper which is yellow. The only thing available was wrapping paper from hamburgers, which is brown. So many customers familiar with these colors will complain without even opening the burger and say, I asked for a cheeseburger, not a hamburger. Again, we fixed the problem by using different color paper to continue with the operations. But that did not make it easier because now the customer is confused. At the end of the day, the customer was giving a simple explanation that, well, we run out of cheeseburger paper. That's why we use a hamburger paper, and we got your order correct. Again, the cybersecurity industry is no different. You have to take the initiative and think outside the box. That's the number one rule. What worked yesterday is not going to work today. So you have to take the initiative to keep yourself up to date with the latest trends, tactics, techniques, and procedures before someone else tells you that you have to do it. It has to come from you. And when it comes to solving problems, you just have to think outside the box. The challenges in cybersecurity will always be different, so be ready to act fast. Adaptability and flexibility. Life is a roller coaster. Sometimes you're going to go up, sometimes you're going to go down, sometimes you're going to go slow, sometimes you're going to go fast. And there's always going to be uncertainty. All you have to do at this point is to adapt. Be patient and be flexible. Things cannot happen overnight. And there is going to be frustration, and there's always going to be a learning curve. McDonald's menu changes could happen overnight, especially if this is coming from corporate. Some of these changes affect employees and customers because we are familiar with the numbers and the respective menu items. So when ordering, we don't order a Big Mac. We order the number one, or at least I do. When I was working there, I remember that the number two consisted of 2 cheeseburgers. Somehow, corporate decided to move it to number 9, and the change happened quickly without notification. If you ask me, the number 2 made reference to the 2 cheeseburgers, so it didn't make sense to change it to number 9. Hey, again, the decision was made above my pay grade. I remember I was working at the drive-thru when the customer asked for a number 2, and the new number 2 was a quarter pounder. So when we gave him the order, he checked it and said, this is not the correct order. I wanted the number 2, the 2 cheeseburgers. We look at the menu and say, we apologize, the number 2 is not the 2 cheeseburgers, it's the quarter pounder. His reply was epic and legit. I've been ordering the number 2 for many years. I know what I'm ordering. All we have to do at this point is be flexible and adapt to the changes. We have to remake his order and let the customer know that in the future, he needed to order the number 9, not the number 2. I remember when I was in the military, there was this famous case of data exfiltration by Private Chelsea Manning. He or she now was exfiltrating confidential information from the US government and sharing it in WikiLeaks. What did the Department of Defense did? They sent a mandatory group policy so that the USB storage media, will not be allowed on government computers. The change happened overnight. There was no notification in advance of these changes. Today, you could insert your external hard drive. Tomorrow, you cannot use it at all. Many agencies were affected because they use external media to back up their information. I mean, this is before the cloud and everything else we have today. So here are my 2 cents. You cannot control your surroundings. You can only control yourself. All you have to do is be flexible and adapt to the changes. That's how you survive. Stress management. Oh boy. If you ask me for the top 10 most stressful industries, I probably will guess that the fast food or restaurant business is in there. And I will not be surprised if the cybersecurity field is in there as well. When working at McDonald's, you are under a lot of pressure and things are happening very fast. Customers are waiting for their order. They want things in a certain way. So every little detail adds to this stress. On the other hand, cybersecurity is not different. You may not have an immediate customer demanding something to be done in a certain way, but you have your upper management and executives expecting something from you. The biggest question they ask is if the organization is secure, if we can prevent breaches or incidents or anything along the line. They might not be as needy as the fast food customer, but when something happens, they will be worse than the McDonald's customers. At the end of the day, they're the ones paying for your salary. Now, you tell me, knowing that you have a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders, don't you feel pressure already? So here are my 2 cents regarding stress. Understand that you cannot have control for everything. The only one who can control you is yourself. Avoid burning out. Prioritize your mental health and have a work-life balance. The cybersecurity field is a 24/7 field, but set limits to avoid burning out. Customer service. Okay. Well, customer service is in McDonald's DNA. The fast food business is a heavy customer service industry. If you don't know, the #1 rule in customer service is the customer is always right. With that being said, you are here to please the customer. Hence, if the customer needs to complain about something, you will be the first in line to ensure that the customer has a good experience. So when I was working at McDonald's, I cannot tell you how many complaints I got from customers. I mean, I could write a book now. I didn't want cheese and it has cheese. The drink has a lot of ice. The soda is flat, you name it. In cybersecurity, especially when you're dealing with customers who are paying for managed services, they expect you do everything for them. They don't realize that a lot of the managed services are just there to give an extra hand to organizations. But a lot of the work still has to be performed by internal security teams. So again, the customer is always right. The only thing you can do to avoid having a customer getting upset is to make your point across. Accepting they're correct, but let them know that this is not the time to complain. It is the time to start working in collaboration and to make the necessary changes to improve the organization's security posture. Policy adherence. When you start working for a company, the first thing they will provide you is the employee handbook, which will have many policies in place. These documents are necessary to know what you can and can't do while working in the organization. When I started working at McDonald's, besides the employee handbook, I also had to learn and read different safety regulations. These policies were outside of McDonald's Corporation. These were coming from other agencies that regulate policies, such as OSHA and others. Again, before I can even start working, I have to read all these policies to understand the impact if these rules were not followed. In cybersecurity, we're policymakers because we have to tell the end users that what they can and can't do to ensure that the company's security posture is there. But just like we're policymakers, we have to be policy followers. Just because we have the power of having an administrator account, that doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. That just means you have more responsibilities and you're accountable for anything that happens, especially when you're dealing with that level of privileges. When creating policies, make sure they are well written and easy to understand. So when the end users are reading them, they know what the ask is. Also, when you sign that policy, just remember that you also have to follow the rules dictated by the policy. So lead by example. And finally, learning how to embrace failure. I want to start with this quote that I tell my close friends. Embracing failure is not just recommended, it's essential. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey towards achieving it. So enjoy the ride. The word journey is an understatement because the so-called journey in reality is a marathon full of rocks and obstacles along the way. Your job is to learn to accept that it's okay to fail, regardless of what the school system or your parents told you. Failing is okay. When I was working at McDonald's, my first ice cream cone was not beautiful. And when I was walking to the counter, the ice cream fell because it was not made correctly. I didn't know that you have to make like 3 or 4 turns to make it stable and make it look beautiful. I felt miserable that day. When I got my first job in cybersecurity, I made many mistakes, more than you can imagine. Even though I had already worked in IT for many years and recently graduated with a master's in cybersecurity, I thought I was immune to this. Again, I did not have experience as a security analyst. I knew how to use tools, I knew methodologies, I learned theory, but I didn't have experience. Accept that you don't have experience, and that experience will come with time. All you have to do now is be patient and trust the process. And I think this picture talks for itself. Here's another quote I like to say. Life is paved with challenges and setbacks. Embracing these moments of failure and learning from them is what leads to true expertise and success. And persistence is the key. Persistence, 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 and never give up. The moment that you do, you lost the battle. But it's not too late. You can still win the war. All you have to do is get back on your feet and keep going. So we're almost at the end of the presentation. And if there's something I want you to take away from this is, number 1, master the basics. Again, the cybersecurity industry is full of challenges. You cannot skip steps. You must learn the basics of computers, networking fundamentals, system administration, and security fundamentals. If you want to become a penetration tester, you might want to start learning how to defend first. That way you can see how the attackers do it, and you're learning those tactics, techniques, and procedures. And eventually you can apply them in your labs. Number 2, embrace failure. Remember, don't be afraid to fail, and don't see failure as a negative thing. We're in this together. You're not alone. You have a community that supports you. Number 3, when writing your resume, highlight those max skills and work ethics, because you may not have experience, but there will be other skills that will back you up and make you a better candidate than others. Number 4, McDonald's is a mastermind in marketing. Their brand is recognized worldwide. And just like them, you can do it too. So start investing in your LinkedIn profile and social media, whatever you have. As I always said, if you want to brag about something, LinkedIn is the place to do it, because people are watching. And every like by your network will be seen by their network. So start making connections, start growing your network. Number 5, respect and diversity. Be respectful. I was raised to treat everyone with respect, regardless of their social status. I treat the same way a janitor to a CISO, to a general, to a CEO. Let me tell you something. Here in Silicon Valley, Many millionaires and CEOs don't look like one. I cannot tell you how many times when I do my Pacific Hackers events, these people come, and when I start talking to them about what they do, they say, oh, I'm the CEO for this company. Oh, I co-founded this company. Oh, I'm the CISO. Well, whatever the case. Never judge the book by its cover. Which takes me to the next point, diversity. Be open-minded. The cybersecurity industry is very small, and the brightest minds in the field are not from the US. Thus, English is not their first language. Be open-minded and be open to accents. Don't let that be a barrier. So this was my journey. At this point, you probably know my whole history. I started with a dream and a goal that my first job will be at McDonald's. What I didn't realize is that the kid who at one point was looking at the McDonald's menu eventually was going to be looking at the screens at NASA Security Operations Center. My journey was full of challenges and nothing was given to me for free. So sit down and remember your dreams and goals when you were younger. Don't let anyone tell you you can do it. Your journey is valuable. Just because you have not reached your goal doesn't mean you will never accomplish it. Next time you're preparing for your resume, gearing up for a job interview, or searching for a job, take a moment and sit down and relax. Reflect on how much your past experiences, even those from other industries, are relevant to the aspiring job. Take any opportunities and challenges when they're presented to you. If you see a job you like, go ahead and apply. Chances are you're more qualified than what you think. The main takeaway is don't disqualify yourself. Let them disqualify you. It's important not to be your own judge. Take the feedback to better yourself and move on, but never crucify yourself. Value who you are and what you can give and share to others. And don't try to be a copy of someone else. Be yourself and overcome imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is real, and the cybersecurity industry is full of it. Just remember, you're more valuable than what people think. So stand up, start your journey, and overcome all the challenges ahead. Trust the process and enjoy the ride. Thank you.